Welcome. This is Back to the Bins. I'm your host, Mr. B. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back, and if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a comic book collecting channel, and I'm a comic collector. These Sunday videos are intended to showcase the comics I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. I managed to get a couple of back issues as well as some dollar bin goodies, so if that sounds interesting to you, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? I'd love to develop a community of people who are just interested in collecting comics. And if that sounds interesting to you, why don't you take a look over here, and I'll show you what I picked up. Alright, like I said, these are the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. Got a bunch of great books, and as per usual, we start in alphabetical order, and that takes us to a DC title. This is Batman Superman World's Finest, number 29. This is the Bjorn Barons cardstock variant. I bought it strictly for the cover. As a cover collector, I couldn't say no to this. You got two of the biggest DC heroes, two of the biggest superheroes of all time. Absolutely beautiful cover. I just think this is great. I love Bjorn Barons' work. I am slowly but surely getting familiar with him. He is releasing covers, and I am taking advantage of it. Now, in terms of alphabetical order, I would have assumed that this comic was just called World's Finest, because I believe that's what DC had done at some point, but, of course, Batman and Superman, B's come first. Okay, and then right away we go to the back issue. No, this is the dollar bins. We've got Battlefield Action number 78 from December of 1982 on Charlton Comics. I love these Charlton Comics. Turns out I actually have this one already. Just this past week I saw a Avro Lancaster bomber. So when I saw this in the dollar bin, I got a little excited, even though that is not an Avro Lancaster. That's like a B-17 or a B-25 or something. I'm not too sure what that one is. But I do love these Charlton War books because they look like they were printed during the war. And the fact that this is from 1982, I love it. Trying to collect these, they're getting harder and harder to find. I think people are getting wise to just how awesome these books really are. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Maybe I'll just keep it. Maybe I'll cut some things out of it. Obviously, it's not worth anything, but I love those Charlton War comics. All right, and then here we go back to the pull list stuff. This is Catwoman, number 67, the Pablo Villalobos cardstock variant. I love his work too. Another one of my favorite artists. I've been loving these Catwoman covers. I'm collecting them until the run is done, which is relatively soon. Unfortunate, but we'll see what happens. I think the whole DC universe is getting retooled again. There probably will be another Catwoman title, but until then, I'm going to love these covers and I'm going to keep getting them. Oh yeah, then we go to the back issue bins, and I got this one. This is Daredevil number 147. Now the cover date is July of 1977, but this actually hit stands on April 5th, 1977. That's the day I was born. This comic is exactly the same age as me, and I have had it in my want list for quite some time. My LCS got a huge Daredevil collection in, and I was going through the bins and I thought, oh yeah, the Daredevil. I want that comic. And lo and behold, there it was, and I'm super thrilled to have this. I think it's great. I am collecting the Daredevil run. I'm trying to collect that Frank Miller run. This is not a part of that, but I am very happy to get this. This is a Gil Kane cover alongside Joe Signett, and Jim Shooter is doing the writing here. Yeah, I mean, come on. I think Gil Kane is doing the interiors as well. This is just awesome stuff. Who doesn't love Daredevil? And to have one that's as old as I am, fantastic. Then I found this one in the same collection, the back issues. This is Daredevil number 189 from August of 1982. This is a Frank Miller cover. He also did the writing. Klaus Janson does the interiors, and there's some minor keys going on here. This is the death of Stick, as well as Flame or Chaste in the Marvel 616. Happy to get this, trying to get that whole collection. There's some that are going to be harder to get than others, but I was very thrilled, like I said, to see a huge Daredevil collection come into the LCS. Always a good time when you can find this stuff. Back to the pull list, we got Destro number 2. I enjoyed the first issue. I think it was pretty good. This is the Riley Rossmo variant, of course, released via Image on the Energon Universe imprint thing. Yeah, I don't know. I saw people give this one flack. I also saw people give Scarlet flack, and there's probably some legitimacy there, but I certainly enjoyed issue 1. I've always loved Destro. I love that Zaymot and Tomax are on this one, and just see where this comic goes first before we really complain about it. Then we got this new book. This is Phoenix, number 1. That's a Peach Momoko cover, no doubt about it. I saw some conflicting information on this particular book. Some people liked it, some people don't, but that's comics in a nutshell anyway. I'm looking forward to it. I don't read a lot of X-Men, but I have been reading the Peach Momoko Ultimate X-Men. She's not doing this, but another cover of the X-Men. I'm kind of slowly but surely getting in to the X-Men. I have a lot of the classic X-Men stuff that I'm working on, and I got to read that first, I think, but I still got to collect all those issues, but we'll be reading this one. Speaking of Scarlet, we got this. This is issue number 1, the second printing. I couldn't say no to the Storm Shadow cover. Absolutely awesome. That's done by Jason Howard. What can I say? I love the first book. Can't say no to a Storm Shadow cover. I'm going to keep reading and collecting this particular title because I think Scarlet is a fantastic character. Another off the pull list, we got the Spectacular Spider-Men, number 5. This is the David Yardin homage variant, and I'll show the homage right next to it momentarily. I think this is another great cover. I haven't actually read Spectacular Spider-Man yet, although I have heard some great stuff, and I've also heard some bad stuff. Apparently, this book is maybe getting a little bad as it continues. We'll see what happens. I'll eventually read it. I think at first I was going to collect just the 5 issues, but I might go 10. I don't know. If the covers are good, I'm going to keep going because I just love Spider-Man. It's great to have as many covers with Spider-Man as possible. Speaking of which, back to the dollar bins. This right here. This is Spider-Man number 15 from August of 1991. That is Eric Larson cover. He's also doing the writing as well as the interiors. This is a pretty iconic cover, teaming up with Beast right here. There's a train coming, but there's also this line, this cut almost right there that, I don't know. I didn't see it. This is probably why it was in the dollar bin. That's okay. We'll find another one day. Got a bit of a, plaque buildup there on Spidey's thigh. I couldn't say no. This was a quarter. 50 cents maybe. So I've never had this before. A great cover. Maybe one day we'll get an upgrade, but until then, I'm going to have a good time with this particular copy. All right, then here, again, from the pull list, we got Thundercats number 6. I've been saying from the get-go this book could be a whole lot better. It hasn't been. The last couple of issues have been okay. We'll see where this one goes. Again, we got Mumra on the cover in full beast mode. I love it. These Lucio Perillo covers have just been absolutely fantastic, and that's what's keeping me going here. A big fan of Thundercats from back in the day. I hope that something changes with this book. Maybe it's a limited series. I think that would probably save it. If this is an ongoing and it's going to stay this way, I think people should drop it, myself included. Oh, we were talking about Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, and here we have issue number 5, the most recent issue, and again, this is the Peach Momoko variant cover. She does the A cover as well as a variant, and I'm collecting the variants. I'm a sucker for Peach Momoko. I love her work. I love the medium she uses. I think she's fantastic. I know that she's hit or miss with a lot of people. I think she's great. I think this book is fantastic. If you're kind of unfamiliar with the X-Men, I would say this is a great title to pick up. If you can find the first 4 issues, fantastic stuff right here. I love this. All right, then here we go. Some DC goodness with a beautiful cover. Again, this is a series that I'm just collecting for the covers. This is Wonder Woman number 11. This is a Julian Totino Tedesco cardstock variant. He, too, one of my favorite artists for covers. I think his work is great. I love this look It's a very interesting take on Wonder Woman's costume. I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of British version of her or not, but whatever it is, I think it's great. I love his work, and I'm collecting the first 12 issues of Wonder Woman just for the cover. I will probably eventually read this, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes, as a cover collector, you just don't feel inclined always to just read the books, even though it would probably do you good. And finally, the variants were good, so Wonder Woman got one of these. Great, great covers. This is Wonder Woman number 11. This is the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez Artist Spotlight variant. Had a couple of those last week, I think. Probably have a couple more coming as the weeks progress, but I love this stuff. This is fantastic. Super cool, classic, iconic stuff, and that suit is wonderful. Well, folks, that is everything. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. And how about we get back to the real world, shall we? Well, that was a great collection of books. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. And if you did, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? It really helps to promote the channel. And like I said earlier, I'd love to develop a community of people who are just really interested in collecting comics. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next week. And until then, remember, comics are good.